Our second year of marriage, I found out he had a porn addiction. He was hiring women for sexual favors, y'all. And then I would say I just was really isolated, and I was nervous to tell my parents and my friends, and then I didn't want to go through another divorce. So I was like, we should go on a healing journey together and just try to mend it. And so I thought we were kind of on this healing journey. And then 2 years ago, I was in Nashville filming with TBN, and I got a call from him that he was being extorted by a prostitute.
I know you weren't ready for that. That caught you off guard, didn't it? I know. Okay, but we're about to get into it. So we're going to talk about Toni Collier's story. I'm also going to allow her husband to say his part, because I believe that there are three sides to a story: his, hers, and the truth. And then I want to dive deeper into how do you navigate someone cheating on you when you are a woman of faith? You believe in God. You know, you feel like you're doing all the things right. Not perfect, but right. And then this happens to your family. What is it that you do? And how is it that you get through it if you decide to go through divorce? So we're going to get into that. But before we listen to the rest of the clips and dig a little bit deeper into what divorce looks like, or even just cheating and staying with the person, I want you to like this video because other people need to see it, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's go.
Met a pastor, thought this was like my Cinderella story. I'm like, this is it, guys. I'm like super saved now. I'm never going to curse again.
And when was this?
Oh, 2016.
Okay.
Am I right about this? Yes, 2016. And he worked for North Point Ministries. I mean, I was like, y'all, I hit the jackpot, you know, like he's the pastor. Yeah. So long story short, he hired someone. It was a transgender prostitute. That's another, I don't even know.
And he's a pastor.
He's a pastor. And I guess they got a video of him. And so they were using this video to extort him, and he sent like $10,000. And then they threatened to come to our church because we had planted a church. We planted Hillsong Atlanta. So we were the first African-American pastors with Hillsong.
Wow.
And you were the lead pastors?
Yeah. First African-American global lead pastors. We'd left North Point to go to Hillsong, and then Hillsong stuff blew up. Literally 6 days after they announced us, the Carl Lentz stuff came out. We were like, People magazine, we don't know anything. We just got here.
This is a little off topic, but I just want to let you know that Carl Lentz at Hillside had nothing to do with what this woman is talking about. She's just mentioning that they just got into the church and a scandal had already taken place. And then a second scandal had taken place. So it caused the church to close in March of 2022. Well, at least their Atlanta location, because they still do have other locations here in the United States. Now let's continue to listen.
And so we ended up having to leave Hillsong and have our own church called Story Church. And when we transitioned, my ex-husband never put a board back in place.
Oh, man.
And so when everything happened, he just got to keep preaching and leading. Everybody left the church, but he just built another staff. And
when you get married after 2 months, if you're honest, I don't like you, you don't like me. We know this.
Yep.
We're public figures doing the best we can.
Yep.
Trying to save face.
I know I just threw Sam Collier out there to you, but there you go. That's Toni's ex-husband. And I think he's still a pastor. I'm not sure. I didn't even get that far into my research because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole on the two of them as much as I would love to do that. I just want to kind of stick to the surface level of the interviews that they did so that we could take a deep dive into what marriage and divorce and infidelity looks like for us believers. So don't lose me here. We're still going to get there. But I noticed that Sam Collier, he went to Dear Future Wifey podcast with Lateris Whitfield, and his story was very different from Toni's. Now, Toni's was about cheating, and his was about us just not liking each other. Well, of course, a woman not gonna like you if you cheating on her, and then she gives you another chance and you cheat again. At that point, she probably hates you. She's praying for your downfall. She's praying that the Lord just takes your breath up out of your body, because that's exactly how you made her feel when you stepped out.
If she watches this, I hope she hears it. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's anointed. And God, when I met her, she was beautiful, talented, anointed, and that hadn't changed.
Yeah.
And there's a purpose on her life. I felt a sense of responsibility for helping. Again, we talk about what is my purpose. I believe my purpose is to help other people discover theirs.
Yep.
So for me, I took so much gratitude and so much honor being able to help steward what the Lord had placed on her life. If you've ever seen her speak, if you've ever seen her preach, if you've ever seen her, that girl is amazing.
He sounds like Apostle Brian Meadows, and I use apostle loosely. If you haven't watched those videos, please go watch them. I just did too this month, a couple of days ago. You want to take the credit for something that God had already put inside of a person. And while God may have very well used him to push her or to get her to where she is, he could have used anybody. That talent and whatever she has in her was still going to be there. But instead of this man repenting and letting his wife know that he was wrong in front of the world, he decides to say, I hope she's listening to this, and then pats himself on the back. You hurt this woman. And there are so many other women who go through things like this, and they have to go through it by themselves. But not Toni, because Toni has been able to push through even though she's no longer married to Sam. That's why I say God can use anybody to elevate you to where he needs you to be. He can use anybody to pour into you. So for this man to take the credit, I'm just like, sir, the only credit we're giving you is the credit that your wife said ended that marriage. That's the only credit. And that ain't good credit. That's bad credit. Now, I want you to listen to what Toni Collier had to say, because she is on another podcast and her demeanor, her body language and everything is just very different. So let's take a look.
No, I'm not about to be cheated on all the time. No, that's not okay. Like, there is more. That's wrong. That's darkness. And there's light over here to be found.
Yeah.
And I think that's what so many people need to hear, because hope is really just the belief that things can get better.
Do you see the difference in how Toni looked at the beginning of the video versus how she looked when she was sitting down having an interview with Lecrae on his podcast? She seems more confident. She seems like she has gone through a certain part of the grieving stages. And that's what I want to get into with you. So I don't want to miss any stages. So I want to call them out and tell you what they look like, because you or maybe somebody you know has gone through these stages due to divorce. Okay, so there are stages in a divorce that you go through, just like if you lost a loved one. They're very similar. The only difference, of course, is you're not losing someone to death, but you're losing someone to divorce, and that can feel like a death. I mean, even if you are going to see that person again, because you may have other ties together, or you may have children together, but you still go through these same kinds of stages. So I'm going to talk about those, what they mean, and then you can let me know if you've gone through any of these. The stage of denial. This is the stage where you're like, okay, I think I can stick it out. We're going to be okay. Now, I'm not saying that it had to be due to infidelity or whatever your reason is, but you start to think like it's going to work. And sometimes that's just not the case. Now, I understand that there are biblical reasons why you can get divorced, and I've talked about those before. So if you want to see that video, go take a look. But there are many, many reasons in this day and age why people do get a divorce. And again, those very same people still go through these stages. The next stage is anger. You're frustrated. You're irritated. You upset. You want to tear somebody's head off, because whatever has happened in the marriage caused it to part like a fork in the road, as my father would say. And so you're just upset that it didn't work out. You saw a future with this person, and that future looked bright. It did not look like what the divorce looks like. And so, of course, you're angry, because you're like, man, I was looking at 10 years from now, or maybe even 2, and now there is no 2 years. So anger is a one that a lot of us go through. Whether it's infidelity or not, people still get angry because something that they've worked very hard at is ending. The next stage is bargaining. Okay, so you're like, okay, what about bargaining? You start asking yourself, could I have done something different? If I would have just done this, if I would have just done that, maybe it would have worked. And you'll never know, because you didn't do that. So now hindsight is 20/20, as some people would say. Your next stage is depression, and we know what depression looks like. And then you move into acceptance. Acceptance is when you begin to accept everything that's happened. You cannot change anything. There's no, if I knew what I knew now, all of those things, that's out the window. It's, I'm going to accept this for what it is, and I am going to start healing. And that is the best place to be in, because that's what it looks like Toni is doing. She came out with a book. She's doing an interview with Lecrae, and she has accepted that the marriage didn't work. Doesn't matter if it was 2 months, because I can hear somebody in my comment section now. It didn't work because they didn't know each other long enough. They could have waited 2 years. If a person has an issue with infidelity, if they cannot stay faithful, it doesn't matter how long they would have waited to get married. That was an issue that he should have worked out long before even entering a relationship, a serious relationship. Now, once you go through all of these stages and you start to go through that acceptance part, I want you to know that healing doesn't happen overnight. It is a process. And I know because I've been married before and I am now remarried. And healing took a while for me. And there is no time limit. So don't come saying, how long did it take you to heal? Your healing process is not going to be the same as mine. It's different for everybody. I've seen women bounce back months later, and I don't mean bounce back with another man. You know how the old folks used to say, the best way to get over a man is to get under one. That's absolutely not true. And you definitely shouldn't be doing that, okay? The best way to get over a man is to find out who you were before you met that man. The marriage did not make you. The marriage is not your identity. That's the best way to get over somebody. To get back to who you truly are and what your purpose is on this earth. And sometimes it's not being a wife, and sometimes it is, and that's okay too. But in the process of your healing, get to know you before you try to get to know somebody else, okay? Allow yourself to heal completely and wholly and get help in doing it. Like Toni Collier's book, Don't Try This Alone. You're not alone when you go through a divorce or even after a divorce. You just have to find your community of people who are willing to support you through that. Now, let me know what you think about this video in the comments below, because that's what I'm here for.